In the hush of twilight, a weary writer seeks solace in an abandoned seaside cottage. The air hangs heavy with dust and the lingering scent of salt and decay. As night falls, the gentle lapping of waves promises a respite from sleepless nights. But rest eludes them. At precisely 3:12 a.m., a soft, rhythmic tapping emerges from the wall beside their bed. Not the door, not the window, but the very wall itself. It's as if someone is politely requesting entry. The moment they sit up, the sound vanishes, leaving only the whisper of the sea. Dreams come, but they offer no escape. In the depths of slumber, they find themselves in the same bed, but the room has grown darker. A pale figure perches at the foot of the mattress, its gaze fixed upon them. Paralysis grips their limbs as the figure leans close, whispering, "You're almost ready." Morning light reveals subtle changes. The bed has shifted, angled away from the wall as if dragged by unseen hands. Their pillow carries the faint aroma of brine, despite tightly sealed windows. The cottage seems to breathe with an otherworldly life of its own. As the second night descends, the ocean's song takes on an eerie quality. A low, distant humming intertwines with the crash of waves. The knocking returns, more insistent now. The mattress dips slightly, an invisible weight settling beside them. Sleep drags them under once more. In this dream within a dream, they wander through a decaying version of the cottage. Seawater floods the halls, and amidst the murky depths, a drowned woman floats. Her hair drifts like seaweed, her eyes remain closed, but her lips curve into a smile as she speaks. "You in my bed now." They jolt awake, gasping for air, only to find wet footprints leading from the bed to the wall, and disappearing into it. The clock mockingly displays 3:12 a.m., that same haunted moment, frozen in time. As the knocking begins anew, they lie back down, eyes wide and unblinking. The camera slowly pans to the wall, where faint damp handprints materialize, reaching out from beyond. The boundary between waking and sleeping blurs, leaving only the endless night and its patient, unseen visitor. In the fading light of dusk, a weary writer arrives at a forgotten seaside cottage, their footsteps echoing through the empty rooms. The air hangs heavy with dust and the lingering scent of salt and decay. As night falls, the gentle rhythm of waves becomes a soothing lullaby, promising the elusive rest they so desperately seek. The first night unfolds like a whisper, soft and unassuming. The writer settles into the unfamiliar bed, hoping that the ocean song will finally lull them into slumber. But at precisely 3:12 a.m., a sound breaks the stillness, a gentle, rhythmic tapping against the wall beside the bed. It's not coming from the door or the window, but from within the very structure of the house itself. The knocking is slow, almost polite, as if someone is patiently requesting entry. The writer sits up, heart racing, and the sound immediately ceases, leaving only the faint echo of waves in its wake. As consciousness slips away, the writer finds themselves in a dream that feels unnervingly real. They lie in the same bed, but the room has grown darker, shadows pooling in the corners like spilled ink. At the foot of the bed sits a pale figure, its features indistinct in the gloom. The writer tries to move, to speak, but their body remains frozen, trapped between waking and sleeping. The figure leans closer, its whisper barely audible. "You're almost ready." The words hang in the air like mist, seeping into the writer's mind as they drift deeper into unconsciousness. Morning arrives with a sense of unease that clings like cobwebs. The writer notices small, unsettling changes in the room. The bed has shifted slightly, angled away from the wall, as if dragged by unseen hands. The pillow carries the faint scent of salt water, despite the windows being tightly shut against the coastal air. These subtle alterations gnaw at the edges of reality, blurring the line between the waking world and the realm of dreams. As the second night approaches, the writer finds themselves drawn back to the bed, both yearning for and dreading the coming darkness. The sound of the ocean begins to change, no longer a soothing rhythm but a low, distant humming that seems to vibrate through the floorboards. At 3:12 a.m., the knocking returns, more insistent this time. The tapping grows faster, more urgent, and then, a new sensation. The mattress dips slightly, as if an invisible weight has settled beside the writer. The air grows cold, and the scent of seawater intensifies, filling the room with the essence of the depths. Sleep claims the writer once more, pulling them into a dream within a dream. They walk through the cottage, but it's no longer the dusty, abandoned place they first encountered. Water seeps through cracks in the walls, pooling on the floor and rising with each step. The wallpaper peels away in sodden strips, revealing patches of algae and barnacles beneath. In the hallway, a figure floats, a woman, her hair drifting like seaweed around her pale face. Her eyes remain closed, but a smile plays across her blue-tinged lips. "You're in my bed now," she says, her voice gurgling with the sound of waves. The writer jolts awake, gasping for air that tastes of brine. Their eyes dart around the room, searching for signs of the nightmare that clings to their consciousness. And then they see it, a trail of wet footprints leading from the bed to the wall. The prints grow fainter as they approach the peeling wallpaper, before disappearing entirely into the solid surface. The clock on the nightstand blinks steadily. 3:12 a.m. The same moment, frozen in time, repeating endlessly. As the nights blur together, the line between reality and nightmare becomes increasingly tenuous. The writer finds themselves trapped in a loop of half-remembered dreams and unsettling wakefulness. The knocking grows louder, more insistent, and the presence in the room becomes almost tangible. The scent of the sea permeates everything: their clothes, their skin, their very thoughts. In lucid moments, the writer questions their sanity. Is this all an elaborate hallucination brought on by exhaustion, or have they stumbled into something far more sinister, a haunting that transcends the boundaries of the physical world? The cottage seems to breathe around them, its walls expanding and contracting like lungs filled with salt water. Each morning, the writer awakes to find the room subtly changed. Books rearrange themselves on shelves, their spines now crusted with salt. Seashells appear on windowsills, though the door remains firmly locked. And always, always, the lingering impression of someone, or something, watching from just beyond the veil of perception. As the days pass, the writer's grip on reality continues to slip. They find themselves drawn to the wall where the knocking originates, pressing their ear against the damp surface, straining to hear whispers from the other side. Sometimes, in the moments between sleeping and waking, they catch glimpses of pale hands reaching through the solid barrier, beckoning them closer. The final night arrives, though the writer no longer knows how much time has truly passed. The cottage groans around them, timbers creaking like the hull of a sinking ship. The writer lies in bed, eyes wide open, watching as the shadows in the room seem to coalesce and shift. The knocking begins again, a steady rhythm that matches the beating of their heart. Slowly, inevitably, the writer turns their gaze to the wall. Faint wet handprints begin to appear, pressing outward as if something on the other side is trying to break through. The scent of the sea grows overwhelming, filling the room with the promise of depths unexplored and secrets long buried. As the clock strikes 3:12 a.m., one last time, the writer makes a choice. They reach out, their fingertips brushing against the damp wallpaper. The boundary between worlds trembles, ready to dissolve. In that moment, suspended between reality and dream, between the land and the endless ocean, the writer finally understands. They have always been here, in this liminal space between life and death, waking and sleeping. And now, at last, they are ready to cross over. The last thing they see as consciousness fades is the pale figure from their dreams, emerging from the wall with open arms and a welcoming smile. As the writer slips into the embrace of the unknown, the sound of waves fills their ears, carrying them away on a tide of endless night.